Good morning. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to 1 Million Cups Daytona Beach. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, enjoying this nice warm weather. It's about time. I always say in the winter we're one day closer to spring, and it feels like it today. So thanks for coming out. Is anyone here for the very first time? Well, we got some. All right. Well, thank you for coming out. Appreciate it. We are the chapter at Daytona Beach for 1 Million Cups, brought to you by the Kaufman Foundation. All throughout the country, we have entrepreneurs sharing their story and their challenges with groups just like this. You'll have an opportunity after our speaker presents that to answer questions or ask questions. We'll answer them for you. We are also brought to you by Alicia County Economic Development. We couldn't do it without their support. And we get this lovely venue brought to you by Daytona Cinematique, and we certainly want to support them on all the tables. You have calendars that share the events that are going on throughout the month, so make sure you share that with everyone. And we love this great venue and want to keep it going. So without me to say anything further, I want to introduce our speaker today, Alicia, with Anchor and Bloom.
Yay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. I am very nervous. But I am here to share my story about Anchor and Bloom. As you can tell, like I said, it's a journey of resilience, faith, and transformation. It's basically my story, but it's my story times 10 to help other people. You know, we all are given children, raise children, have some kind of experience with children, whether we are their parents or whether we are their aunts or uncles or grandmothers or just a neighbor. But nobody gives us a manual about those children. They say, here you go, here's your child, have a good day. And really, you don't get anything. But what I decided to do was, from the beginning where they are anchored, where they need the most support, where they need the most guidance, they say that between 0 and 4, their personalities are formed. You know who's going to be sassy, you know who's going to be stubborn, you know who's going to be angry, you know who's going to be, you know their little personalities. So the Anchor and Bloom really targets children 0 to 5. And it's because those years they are forming their personalities, they're forming their traits, they're forming habits, but these are the people who need to be they need the most attention from their parents, they need the most support from their parents, they need the most physical, they take so much effort from a parent that the parent does not often have to give. So the Bloom part is, we want to give them to college. We want to get them to success. We want to get them to be viable citizens that can contribute to their community, to the world, doing whatever it is that they need to do. And that's my daughter. She's a graduate of USA. Go Bulls. But the vision of Anchor and Bloom is to provide, prevent, and protect. And it started from a deep desire to bring healing and growth. What are we going to provide? We're going to provide information and resources through partnerships, through mentorship, through education, through engagement. Anchor and Bloom is not just a parent coach mentoring thing, where we sit down with a book and we sit down and we say, well, this is what you're going to do as a mom, and this is what the role is of a dad, and this is how to discipline a child. No, let's get some engagement. Let's get some reading. Let's teach math. Let's teach disciplinary. Let's teach all these things and expectations. A lot of people are handed these kids from the hospital or from the medical provider. They're given these kids, and I do say given because sometimes that's what it's like. Okay, We've been with you for 9 months. You had a team. Now you're on your own. Go home and make it work. But they don't have the tools sometimes. And sometimes they're dealing with their own mental issues or their own trauma or their own lack of awareness of what this really is going to be like. So Anchor and Bloom wants to be there for these parents to say, hey, it's not that you're doing it wrong, but you need a support system. You need a team. Isolation is not good. Let's get you out. Let's get you involved. Let's get you reading books. Let's get you playing. Let's get you engaged in what's going on with your child so that you can really enjoy those developmental years. Also, Anchor and Bloom desires to decrease adverse childhood experiences. I don't know if you've heard of the ACEs program or the ACEs study, but the ACEs study was done with a bunch of professionals. And the ACEs study really just talked about their childhood, what they experienced as a child, if someone was incarcerated, if they suffered some kind of abuse or harm, did someone tell them they were lovely or pretty or handsome or smart? And the higher your score, only 10 questions, the higher your score, the likelihood of you developing some kind of mental illness, even an adverse health risk like heart disease or dying of a heart attack or being exposed to substances and engaging in the criminal activity. So we want to decrease that for our children. The struggle that Anchor and Bloom faced was one, the limit, of course, for all of us, financial constraints. I needed to decide what overhead was needed. How big was this going to be? How much did we need? And how were we going to fund that? The self-doubt and fear of failure. As a parent, nobody gives us what to do, but a lot of people are always telling us what we're doing wrong. They're always telling us, oh, you should do this, or you should do that. And you see the after effects of a child suspended from school, or you missed an appointment, now you can't. Simple things like that. And when we deal with those things, it affects how we manage the rest of the day or the program. Sometimes we ask people to do simple things, but when you already feel like you're moving the earth, when you add another task or another chore to their life, you might as well ask them to pick up a building and move that as well, because that's what we're doing when we don't give them the support that they need. What I also had to do was find the guidance and the mentorship in the days. There are no real parenting programs out there that are not court ordered. And I'm keeping it short so you can ask questions later. Engagement. I had to decide how I was going to approach the parents, how I was going to get them to do something that didn't feel like you have to do this, or you're not doing something correctly, or it's just you and we're telling you what to do. How do we engage these parents? How do we get them to want to invest and not see it as something that says you're doing something wrong? Marketing. Now, this is a tough one for me because I am an employee of the department. So I have to find ways around, and I work directly with parents. So I have to find a way around the conflict of interest, and we're working with that. I have to find ways around referral sources and different agencies that I may or may not be able to work with, and that the department is actually working with me to find out ways to do that. Can everybody see? Overcoming my obstacles, I'm leaning on my faith and my trauma-informed care principles to equip, to prepare, and to care for the families that I want to work with. I'm immersing myself in the community and training and giving and support. I did clothing giveaways, or there was a program that I started called Kicks for Kids, where I partnered with it was Bombas, and they gave us socks and we gave them shoes. And when I say them, we gave the community shoes. So, and it started from, I saw a kid walking in school and he was kicking the wall. I said, why are you kicking the wall? He said, my shoes are too tight. And that was his way of getting some relief for his feet. So I said, no, we got to do something about that. So I learned, you get involved. You don't see things happening. You make things happen. You change what you can. I learned from my failures and I adapted my strategies. I'm not giving up. I had to learn what works, what wasn't going to work. You can't strong arm people into change. But you can educate them. You can show them that, hey, I am a partner with you and we are in this together. My key moments were, I saw the impact that I have on my job as my role as with the department, but I also saw the cons of it as well. A lot of what the state-funded programs offer is after involvement, after something has seriously happened. Anchor and Bloom is designed to set up preventative measures. Let's get involved before something happens. Let's educate, let's train, let's get you what you need. Let's develop those partnerships with oversight. And these are just some of the stories that come to mind when I think about why I do what I do. It started with me working in child welfare, and one of the little girls, she was removed from her parents. And I saw it didn't work. By the time she got to me, she was scared, she was screaming, she was, I don't want to touch, don't touch me. That's heartbreaking. It ended with me finally saying, that 2 years later, walking away, still having that child, and her saying, I love you, Alicia, come back, I love you, come back. Because I was the only one that she would bond with. But I had to do it consistently, and I had to walk away with tears in my eyes and hand her off to somebody else. Needless to say, that was the end of that job. I also met children and I said, why? Why do I need to respect authority? That was a genuine question that a child asked me. Why? I believe that a safe home creates a safe baby. This one is just funny and we just don't have time for that. I've met so many children that just with so many personalities, in school, out of school. And this one was a little girl professing her love. I think she was 4, and she was professing her love for a little boy as she was being carried away from her classroom for disciplinary action. She felt like she was going to the gulag, like I love you, Sean Baby. It was hilarious. But she was having disciplinary issues because she was not safe at home. I believe in a new day, new grace. Children need grace. Parents need grace. We're learning here, and we need to learn together. This one is one of my first impacts. The mom asked me, I just don't know how. Said, we were having a conversation about her doing some things, and she said, I just don't know how. To me, it was a simple question. You just don't know how to not do something? You don't know how to stop doing this and do this? And she said, I don't. I just don't know how. And I'm going to let you read this for a moment. And it's the powerful impact of parenting. And if you can focus on this last statement, parents develop children and families. Families develop the communities that we live in, and communities impact the world. That has been my motto from day one. If we can help parents, we can help children. No matter where we engage the child, whether it's in a criminal justice system or in an education system or just being out in society, they have a parent. And if we can reach their parent, if we can couple up with their parent and get some skills in their home and get some camaraderie and some resources to them, they'll impact their children. They will impact their children. They will build safer families. And each home will build a safe family, then each street, a safer community. And we know that there are other resources out there. There are other things that impact this statement. It's just not, okay, let's get mom what she needs, let's get dad what he needs, and everything will just be okay. It doesn't work like that. But we have to start somewhere. Education, resources, skills, acknowledge. We can no longer just acknowledge and say, oh, she's just this and he's just that. No, we have to deal with these things. Why do we have to deal with these things? Because these things are dealing with us. They're impacting us. They're impacting finances, education, the school we send our children to. They're impacting our social engagement. They're impacting how we even go to Walmart. So, and we've all seen that child in Walmart. The one that's splayed out on the floor, mom standing there, she's about to have a meltdown. Or the mom who is screaming and yelling. I always say, by the time you get to 10, you've already lost. By the time you're at your highest, you might as well give your child the trophy because they have won. Now, this is the part that I've most loved. Not just impacting the parents, I love what I do. I love because I was given the resources and the tools and the tips to help. So I took that opportunity to pass it along. But the future of Anchor and Bloom is to offer in-home comprehensive services to include doula and postpartum care. Now, why do I choose? I am not a medical person. I cringed at the sight of blood. So this is a hard thing for me. But it's because we want to get them to hear. I understand the adverse impact that our women are under now through medical care. There is a broad distrust for medical care when women are in labor. Going back to, we have a team, we have the anesthesiologist, we have the doctor, we have the nurse, we have everybody, and we even have housekeeping coming in when women are giving birth. You have maybe 10 people in the room. Dad, people are coming, people are going, they're changing the trash can while you're giving birth, while you're at your most vulnerable. And you have to trust that. And then at the end of the day, everybody leaves. 2 days later, here you go. Where's my team? No. Here you go. What do? I'm tired. I can't sleep. I'm cranky. And I'm depressed. No. Here you go. Come back in 1 day. But how do I get here? I don't have a car. You need to come back in 1 day. Get your child the shots the next day. Where's my team? No. Call Uber. I don't know what to tell you. Well, dad's sick now. Dad's left. Mom's sick. Mom's left. Here you go. We can't leave our moms like this. So doula services and postpartum care will help. Let's feed this child. Let's get you some sleep. Let's help you change the diapers. Let me tell you, that first one is going to be a nasty one. But listen, I'm here to help you. I am here to support you. Go ahead, go to the bathroom, shower, cry. I got the baby. What do you need? You need me to wash the dishes? That's not in my contract. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. You need someone at night? I got you. And that's what the parents need. They need someone to say, I got you. So also, Anchor and Bloom desires to offer tiered packages and services to include private sessions and crisis intervention. You would not believe how many moms and dads are at home with a crying toddler and they're ready to break. I think we've all been there. But what do we do? What do we do when the department is at your door or the police are at your door and this child won't stop screaming because the neighbor has called? These are real issues. Or you don't have enough formula for your baby. You get resources, but if you don't know the resources, what are you going to do? Now you have a child who's still crying, you're having a meltdown, and the child still hasn't eaten. How we plan to grow and serve more people? Simply, word of mouth, referrals, by partnering with community agencies, through community events, through engagement, through providing scholarships. A lot of the parents that I'm going to reach will not be able to afford the services. So to be able to give them scholarships, you know, the program is only $50 if they just want the parenting package. Simple once a week parenting class, $50 because they have to purchase the book, they have to purchase other little items, $50 to get them the resources. With those tiered services, those resources may be the package and in-home care, or the mentorship, or access to the hotline, or someone calling and saying, I'll be here in 15 minutes, give me an hour, or I'm out at the jail, my older son has been arrested or whatever, or I'm at the hospital, the baby has a fever. Okay, let's talk through this. Or I'm having a moment. There are there are parents that have mental health concerns. Okay, I'm there. Let's walk through. Let's connect you through to the therapists and the counselors and the mentors that are and the behavioral health people who are assigned in your life already. Let's get you these services. I'll get you there. No judgment. I'll make that call for you. And there's also places out there that can meet just the basic needs. It's hard enough raising children to not have what you need, to not have formula, on top of having to pay rent. A lot of women don't get time off. We have something where a lot of jobs may have this, where people can donate days off. They can donate PTO. So you get 6 weeks, postpartum, dad gets time off. You get that time off. But then if you go in the hole, hey, there's an email coming. Alicia needs 10 more days to spend with her child. We can do that. A lot of these parents won't be able to do that. They won't be able to do that. So now we're talking about bills and time constraints and financial issues. And where's this money going to come from to buy diapers and food and formula is expensive. I don't know how many people my youngest are 23, so I bought formula 22 years ago. It was $20, and for two, they're twins. $20. That probably lasted a week and a half. Do we understand the dire need and the constraint that this puts on our families? There are agencies that provide strollers and car seats, not care seats, or care seaters. Care seaters. But cribs and books and toys. But the people need to know about this. There are resources out there. A lot of this is free stuff. So that's why the overhead for Anchor and Bloom is low, because it's free stuff. But we have to give it to the people. And that is my story. I just want to say thank you to everyone for listening. Thank you for everyone who supported me throughout the journey to get here, to my growth, my personal development. And this is one thing that I want to leave you with before I go to my final slide. Solitude is not a friend on this parenting journey. Find your tribe and experience life. Enjoy, love, and don't forget to dance. And this is my tribe. And as we experience life. We experience life whether it's out of the country or in a trip that I didn't go to because I'm afraid of heights. Yeah, that was not in that picture, but this is my tribe. And I just left out one because my mom doesn't take a lot of pictures, but this is my tribe. That's my why. That was my anchor. And this is my love those kids. Love them. Thank you. So now I open it up for questions.
Well, let's give her another round of applause. Rachel, thank you so much for everything that you do. It was a pleasure to listen to you speak, and I love your vision, and what you're doing is so incredibly important. So we're going to go ahead and open up questions. All right, talk to you first.
Hey, great job, great presentation, great story, wonderful job. So, getting into some of the meat of it, how do you make the connection to the individual, to the family, to the person, the husband, wife, whatever, that need that help? Obviously, you want to get there before there's a crisis, but in their mind, they're having a crisis, they just don't know where to look. How do you connect with them?
Well, it's going to be through community engagement. It's going to be putting yourself where they will be. You're going to put yourself where your client is and make them aware. Like, and when I say crisis, I'm talking crisis where we have state involvement, where we have medical intervention, but it hasn't escalated to maybe removal or something, or some voluntary services. There are voluntary services out there, but when you are under a certain umbrella, you cannot have that come to Jesus name with it. You cannot say, let me take off my hat, let me take off my badge, let's talk. So you're going to go where they are, even if it's the library or community events, through referral sources, things like that.
Thank you.
Hi, Lori McMullen with your Daytona Regional Chamber of Commerce. Great presentation. I might have missed this. Are you a for-profit or a non-profit?
I'm an LLC.
LLC, I thought so. Okay. Cool.
Hi, have you gotten involved with the Guardian Ad Litem program at all, or the Domestic Abuse Council? Just thinking about the type of women in both situations with both agencies, I feel like this would be just invaluable to the women in those situations.
Because I'm an employee of the state,
Okay.
I have to be really careful. I don't work in Volusia County. I work in Seminole County. So we're trying to develop how, I'm working with my administration to develop how we can do that. I've heard of Guardian Ad Litem. I used to work for Guardian Ad Litem and the Domestic Abuse Council. So I'm aware of those agencies. It's just kind of not being able to play with them or how we can play with them right now.
Jen Rogers with Just Peachy Clean, and I have to say, as a mom of two, a postpartum depression survivor, I appreciate what you're doing. I remember bringing my first son home at 29. My husband and I walked in the door. We set him down in the car seat, and we looked at each other, and we went, now what do we do? Like, do we hold him? Do we put him in the swing? Like, we legit had that conversation when we walked in the door, and I have a very big support system. I have all my family lives here and everything, so I can only imagine what women who don't have that are going through. So I applaud you for putting something together like this, and I just wanted to say that I appreciate you for that.
Yeah, when I had my first daughter, it was just me. I was in the military. It was just me. I got a cab.
To answer this gentleman's question, to kind of piggyback off of that, a good way to reach those families and people is to control your market, which would be to create, for a parent, I'm a single dad, so how you would reach me would be creating a Facebook group, right? That's closed in whatever cities you want, right? Could be Greater Volusia, Central Florida. And now you control that, right? You invite people to have that as a fun space, and now you are constantly seeing the things. You have a team that are constantly looking out for people who may say, oh man, anybody got diapers? Right now you can now reach out to that parent and say, hey, by the way, I saw that you need diapers. That's actually specifically what we do. I would love to connect, and you build those relationships off that closed market that you've created for yourself that you 100% control.
Thank you. I have a Facebook page, and it's called Anchor Bloom. But now, with that in mind, I can go ahead and refine it some. That's a great idea.
Do the group, because the group really, you can 100% control it. People, there's just a lot more autonomy in what you can do with the group, and you can target people a little better than just a raw Facebook page. Both are great and serve their purposes, but I just recommend that.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
A great presentation. My name's Sean Gepford. I work with Arrow Clinical Trials, and we're kind of on the opposite side where we're working with seniors. But most of the senior services are a model that you could almost duplicate for young families. It's like we have this, we take care of the Council of Aging. It's all geared towards senior children. They can't take care of themselves anymore. Or their families don't know what to do with a senior who can't do things on their own anymore. It's almost like a child. It's like we almost revert to being children again because we can't walk on our own. We can't get to the grocery store. And children are the same way. You can't do that without the assistance. So the model of your business, it's just like the flip side. It's just an age different, but the services are really the same. So I would maybe talk to some business owners that serve seniors, because they're serving them almost the exact same way. You're not teaching them how to raise children, but you're teaching them how to take care of themselves, or the families on how to take care of them as they age. So it's just like you're still on the opposite spectrum. The more important, not the more important, but the very important side of it.
Yeah.
But so there's models out there I think you might be able to look at and see how you can scale the business that way.
Thank you. Thank you. One's the beginning of life, one is the ending.
Services are needed on
Any other questions?
Yeah, hi, I'm here at the back. Hello, waving at you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. We met last week. Hi, Heath Jones from Patron. I enjoyed the presentation, thank you. So, while you were conducting that presentation, I wanted to ask, it seems to me that one of the primary problems that you have is revenue. You need revenue for a business like this, is that correct? To
Yes.
deliver your services. Okay. So,
Yes and no.
okay. So you said something, I think the most impactful thing you said during the whole presentation, which really spoke to me, was effective parents create strong families that create healthy communities that create a better world. That is, I can see that, I can actually see that graphic as you were saying it. And what that does is, from a messaging perspective, it buys us all in. Everybody in this room suffers if any child out there gets to adulthood and isn't effective. Not just because of all the things that we all know, that there's all kinds of problems with addiction and crime and ineffective, but it's the loss to society and the economy from having an effective person as an adult. So that's the reason why we all buy into that. And when you mentioned like $50 a month, I would suggest just consider, as you create that messaging, offering packages to people, because when I was a little younger, I remember a lot of us were contributing to overseas education programs for people in the Philippines and stuff, and a lot of people that did that, whereas that charity could be funneled at home, and we can all be contributing to an effective community right where we live. And if $50 a month, that is not something that any of us in this room probably couldn't afford if we were all contributing to something and knowing it was affecting our own communities.
Thank you.
PJ Billy, the Oklahoma City Lifestyle. I was actually surprised when you said that you're an LLC. And the reason is that I love what you're doing, but when I look at something like this, $50 a month doesn't sound like a whole bunch to me or probably most of the people in this room. But when I had my kids, $50 a month would have been a deal breaker. And as a nonprofit, I think these services are needed. The less somebody makes, the less likely they are to have a tribe. The more they need your services. As a nonprofit, I think you get rid of a lot of the conflicts of interest that you may have with your day job. And you also open it up for people to be able to contribute to the company as a tax write-off that can then help you grow and scale your operations. So I would suggest that you reconsider your formation documents, because I think that you could actually get your message out bigger and louder and stronger if you became a nonprofit.
Thank you very much.
My question is, who's your customer? Because the people that are in need, to me, I agree with him. They're not going to be able to afford it. And maybe I'm wrong on that. I mean, I've been blessed with 6 kids, been married to the same woman for 34 years next week. And I've been very, very blessed. But I know a lot of people that haven't been as fortunate as me. And I think that your customer, to be able to help people, and also with your conflict of interest, is the people that are going to donate the money to make those happen. Because as you tell your story, all of these people's stories are, I don't have. Your story is, I want to give because I've been given to. Well, your story relates with people who are going to give you money, and so that you can help the people that don't have. So to me, the business model makes a lot of sense as a nonprofit. It doesn't make a lot of sense as a for-profit, just simply because you're going up against a real big conflict of interest with a for-profit, but also your clients can't afford it. And so you would be able to get C grants, humanitarian grants. You could get very large grants. You could have someone write grants for you, and people do this on commission. So, there's a lot of things that you could do. And think of the number of people that you could impact if you had $50,000 coming in grants. That's a lot of people that you could do. That's 1,000 people that you could impact. So I think you really need to think that, because I think your customer is not the people that need your help. I think your customer is the people that want to spend the money to help those people.
Well, thank you for turning my head topsy-turvy.
You're welcome. I do that a lot.
Hi, Alicia. It's Valerie, fellow Volusia County resident. We have a couple of people watching online. They were commenting and they were like, sending you love and emojis. I used to serve as a board member for Early Learning Coalition with Library of Volusia County. I would love to make that connection for you. They're always finding resources and partners. They have this huge big buzz that goes around Volusia County offering exactly what you're doing. And they focus on 0 to 5 years old. So I'm happy to make that connection.
Thank you very
Of
much.
course.
Hello, good morning. My name is Samantha. Great job on your presentation today. As a mom of 2, I completely understand where you're coming from and support what you're doing. I think a good area, unless it's a conflict of interest for you, is meeting moms in the hospitals. When you're there in the room, you get the packets with some information and the charts and this and that. So building some relationships with those hospitals so that you can, meet them there in those rooms, because parents might not have the car seat to get out to community events and things like that. But birthing centers, things like that might be a good opportunity to have some information in. So if you're there meeting, you have nothing else to do with your birthday. So,
And I can help make those connections
Yeah, of
back
course.
in Halifax.
Thank you. I'll make sure I get my information for you.
Good morning, I'm Terry King Tyler with TCT Advantage. 2 organizations locally you might want to contact. First, Dr. Kennedy Jacobs with the Urban Chamber. This is right up his alley because he has a private nonprofit. He believes everything is based on the family. He's right around Ridgewood. The other group is One Voice for Volusia. And I totally support both organizations.
I know about One Voice for Volusia. Dr. Jacobs, I can find out his information.
It's the Urban Chamber. He's over on Ridgely.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Lori McMullen again with your Midtown Regional Chamber. I would be remiss if I didn't mention, in case you do want to go down the 501c3 track, that grants are great, but usually you have to show that you have some other income coming in after a period of time. So just keep this in the back of your mind. You want to grow individual wealth, especially if it's non-restrictive, so that you can end up getting a salary, also reasonable salary, but use it where it needs to go best. So that would be the model you'd strive for.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Sammy. I'm a full-time development coordinator, so I work for MOAS, the museum just down the street. My full-time job is donations and fundraising. If you do want to go down the 501c3 route, you should join AFP locally, which is America's Fundraising Professionals. It is all fundraisers from different organizations. ELC was my first thought, but Halifax Brings Hope. There's several other local organizations, homeless shelters, different things that work with unhoused youth, all these different programs that I just know would be so excited to work with you, but also just talking to other fundraising personnel. We all get along really well. We're not at each other's throats. So just the chance to talk to other fundraisers if you want to go the 501c3 route and start looking for donations. Because it's a tough world, but it's a fun world. So
Thank you.
Awesome. We're getting a lot of great feedback in this room today. Thank you guys so much. Let's see another question over here.
Hey, great job, Mark Goodson, Long Beach Chamber of Commerce. I too would throw out the early learning coalition of Flagler and Volusia County. I would tell you that through leadership about 6 or 7 years ago in Norman Beach, we brought the Valley Park Imagination Library to Norman Beach, which is focused on exactly what you're talking about, child development between the ages of birth and 5, and the impact that would make on small children later in life. So this is an organization that took on the plight of that program after we brought it to Norman Beach. I think it would be a good feeder for what you do. I think you have a fabulous message. I share the comments about not-for-profits. It would seem to me, as I think back when I had small children, or when most have small children, that's not when you have the most money. And in spite of the fact they might need the most, they aren't perhaps equipped to pay for it. So to the extent that you could hone your message, pull on the heartstrings of those that are well equipped to donate, such that you can provide those services to people that need it, I think you're onto something for sure. So ELC of Flagler and Volusia would be an organization that I absolutely think would help you. So.
Thank you. And one of the reasons that I want to have the parents, if they can, pay a small fee, because of the buy-in. Typically, when we're given something for free, we don't appreciate it and we don't put in the work that we should, because we don't have, it's not ouching us, But when something costs you something, you're typically asked to invest more of yourself into it.
So you can totally charge as a nonprofit. With the museum, we are fully a 501c3. It is $19 to get in those doors. Now, being a nonprofit means that we can solicit donations. So we do First Free Tuesday. Everybody in Volusia County gets in free. We do EBT SNAP. So if you have an EBT SNAP card, you can come to the museum for free. So we have those programs. That makes us a nonprofit. But charging for people to get in means that when people absolutely can't, we can still provide things. And so if you were a 501c3, you would still charge. It just means that, from an accounting standpoint, it means that your books have to balance out at the end of the year. So you have to spend what you make. So you're not in the green, you're not in the red, you're completely neutral at the end of the year. So as a nonprofit, it means you can solicit donations to get things and have more resources, and you can still charge. So yes, you can still charge, because I totally agree with you that people tend to buy in. But that way, if you see a family that you know can't afford the buy-in and you really want to help them because you just seem like this beautiful soul, and I have a feeling that you're somebody who's giving everything you have to help the community. This way, the community has the opportunity to give back to help you help others.
There's a lot of us in this room that sit on our property. That would be great resources. Or have fun with us.
Thank you. I just need to get your information.
So, you may have seen commercials on TV for Rocket Money or Rocket Lawyer. They have a program, and a lot of companies use this, to where, what do you want to pay? What can you pay? And so, nonprofits is, you run a standard business, but you're just able to have donations be tax deductible. That's the only difference. And so, but then you could have people say, well, I can pay $1 a month, and they still have a buy-in. Or $10 a month, or I can pay $500 a month and fund 10 people. You know, it's just, so the pay as you go or pay what you want is a really valid model that you could set up, and it's very easy to do online.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alicia Colvin. I am a singer and also a mom in the thick of it. I am a homeschool mom, and so I own a couple of businesses. So I do many things, and I would say that my time is a buy-in too. So if these are like meetings that we're going to, like just showing up, like my time is valuable one, and a lot of times I'm exhausted. So I do think like that is a valid buy-in for many, and I totally understand the buy-in. But I think I'm just imagining, I think this is a beautiful thing, and I'm like imagining like community days where people show up, and even these classes where like you even have kids who like older children who can watch the younger children for the parents. I have a 14-year-old who I would imagine would just love doing that. But I mean, you really pull people into, I think, just by loving on them, and that helps to bring them in. So I think it's really beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hello, I'm Shakana. I'm the therapist and owner at Siege Keys Enterprises. I heard you mention earlier that you wanted to have a piece that focused on postpartum care. From a therapeutic standpoint, I often see partners who really don't know how to support the birthing partner in postpartum care, who don't have a clue what postpartum entails. And they're just like, oh, well, they're just depressed. If I could add a piece for that non-birthing parent to learn what postpartum entails, how to help their partner manage signs to look for postpartum depression, because it goes unnoticed a lot of times, and even if it is noticed, the partner has no clue how to help.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome. Thanks for that feedback, Shakona. Good to see you. We actually used to work together at a community mental health agency, and we're both therapists. So lovely to see another therapist in the room. All right, any more questions? Yes, absolutely.
Hi, Ashley Willis from Project North Island Art. Great presentation. Your heart bleeds for this. It's very obvious. So kudos to you. There was a movie, and I don't remember the name of it, but the gentleman said, or one of the kids was talking about parenting, and he said, you have to have a license to fish. You get a manual when you take a refrigerator home, but they'll let anybody like that. That was the comment. So it's just like, it's just what you're saying, Is there anything, resources that go into the baby's bags these days when they leave the hospital? Is that something that...
Is it besides the bill that you're going to get in the mail or email? I don't think so. There should be resources. And one of the things that well, let me say this. They make sure you have a car seat. And how you get that car seat is up to you, and what you put it in is up to you. That's what you get.
When I had mine order, I got it they made us watch a video, and we got a pamphlet that's like how not to shake your baby.
Yeah.
That was
resources. Yeah, and somebody comes in for 20 minutes and tells you how to breastfeed in 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. If you were a resource guide in those bags, I could just imagine the finding. Thank you.
I appreciate it. So many wonderful ideas and just bringing it all together. Thank you.
No, wonderful. I'm so grateful for this community, and you're truly reaping the benefits of how wonderful this room is and everybody in here. So thank you so much. And in true 1 Million Cups fashion, we want to ask a final question. What can 1 Million Cups do for you and for Anchor and Bloom?
Wow. You know, I didn't think about that. This, I would say, this is enough. The feedback, the networking, the challenging of the ideas, because you need that balance. You're sometimes so focused on the goal that you miss, or you don't focus on the other things. Information. I'm a doer. If I have the information, I'm going to do it. Share resources. Share with me. I don't pretend that I know how. I just know that I want to. So if you're willing to share resources with me, I'll give you my contact information. If you want my email address, I didn't add it up here, but I'll give it to you now. If you're ready, it's Florida Mom AP 76 at yahoo.com. So that's Florida Mom AP 76 at yahoo.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes, and I very much look forward to connecting with you. I would love to work on some partnerships, because my private practice is just spitting distance from here, and I have a lovely event space, and I host workshops, women support groups, and I'm looking to do more group work this year. So I would love to get connected with you and see how we can continue to support our community. So yeah, absolutely. Well, let's give Alicia another round of applause.